What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing Boruto episode 246. And as you guys can probably tell by the way I'm talking, I am not too happy with this episode. I'm just going to start off by saying that we're going to talk about what happened throughout this episode, a few things I did like, and a bunch of things I actually did not like. And I will explain why, of course. Not trying to really hate on it or anything, just genuinely didn't really enjoy this one too much. And I'll explain why here. So this episode started off from the cliffhanger we were left on after episode 245, where Kagura just got stabbed by a water sword, or water jutsu that was shaped like a sword by Funamushi. And pretty much what happens after that is Kagura drops to the ground. Seems like, obviously a lethal blow. But everyone charges at Funamushi after that, really pissed off, and Funamushi counters with a water tornado jutsu. Boruto actually, at this moment, it seems like we're about to get a really good rage scene, and Boruto actually ends up activating his karma, and right as he's charging at Funamushi, we cut to the air and we get fighting sounds, but we don't get to see what happens. That was already something I did not like, especially since it's a rage scene, and since Kagura is an important character for the anime, at least. I know he hasn't really been around in manga, but I thought he was one of the more important characters in the anime, and I thought he deserved a better rage scene reaction, at least from Boruto, than what he got. So they're showing the fighting with the air, and then they show Boruto hit a Rasengan, and I really didn't like this either because the impact the Rasengan had was very weak, especially for Boruto activating his karma. So it just kind of made karma look a little bad, in my opinion. It really wasn't that good of a scene. I personally did not enjoy that. And on top of that, it surprised me enough that they actually go on to kill Kagura. I'm going to talk about that a little more too, and why I don't think that was a good choice. So in the meantime, after Funamushi got hit with the Rasengan, he escapes. Everybody goes back to Kagura. And now we have Sarada and Iwabe trying to perform some medical ninjutsu to close his wounds. So it seems like they were able to close his wounds a little bit, but the bleeding would still not stop. And then Kagura pretty much tells him that he probably won't make it, and he has a request to all of them to protect the village. And they were doing a good job, I guess, at least at making this a emotional death, because he went through like this whole speech of telling Buntan, like, thank you for sticking by my side and being the most loyal, and he ended up giving Hebichigo a release form for the three of them, so that after this mission, if they're successful, that they could be granted full release out of prison. So I guess a parting gift there. And he tells Kyoho pretty much to protect both Buntan and Hebichigo as well. So he gave all three of them a nice little goodbye. And he tells Boruto to take care of the rest. That's pretty much his parting words. And I think they had nailed his death scene, at least. Whether you like his death or not, they at least nailed his final words, I think, pretty well. Up until the next part, where we have this image over here that I'm using for this video, with Boruto crying. The art was horrible, as you can see over here. It's become a pretty big meme across a lot of social medias right now, and it kind of sucks that it was animated this way and it looks like that, but it is what it is. I was not a fan of that, and I do think that messed up the moment a bit more. So that was like two things I already wasn't enjoying too much. Then we cut over to more of the Funato guys, and we see Tenma, and we get a flashback for him. So overall, the flashback, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It wasn't anything to boost up the episode or to really dock more points from it. But he pretty much wants to impress Araumi, because that's his father now, and he pretty much was living a life of just stealing food as a kid anyway to try and survive. But he noticed how strong Araumi was, and he asked him to make him strong like him. So Araumi actually liked him, and he brought him over and he pretty much adopted him. So flashback was alright there. Good to give character a little bit more depth, especially since what happens later on. Tenma and Isari then find out in the present that Siren is hurt, and this is starting to make Tenma really mad, so it foreshadows what he's about to do at the end of the episode, because he starts to become hasty. Then we cut back over to Boruto and the rest of them, and we have Kagura getting buried. Um, it was pretty sad seeing that as well. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Okay, let's talk about Kagura. I'm pretty bummed out that they killed him because I don't really like a ton of the anime canon characters necessarily, but I genuinely thought he was one of the best ones, probably like top 3, top 5 best anime canon characters that they've shown. And I just feel like he had more potential to reach. I do understand some people are saying that this happened because of what Momoshiki said about Boruto and his eyes taking everything away from him and all that. And that could be true. It really could. But I also think that the death was timed pretty poorly. It does make sense for the other 3 ninja swordsmen because he kind of left them some big parting words. I did think it was kind of like watching Asuma go in a way slightly because he gave parting words to the 3 swordsmen, and I'm sure that's going to leave some type of impact on them for sure. So that was probably like the biggest positive of it, but I just don't like the timing of it. Maybe they could have done it off better at the end of the arc. I still probably wouldn't have been too big on it. But I personally think if he was going to die, he should have become Mizukage first at least. Or it should have at least been, in my opinion, post-time skip. That's what I would have liked to seen. But here we are. This is where we're at. I do think that the death was not really as good as it could have been. And I definitely do believe that they killed him off at the wrong time. If you guys do think, because I've seen people saying, oh, he might come back. I honestly don't understand how. Unless like there's someone that uses some crazy new sacrifice jutsu or something like that. But I think he's gone for good just based off how it's looking. Which is unfortunate. It's kind of like wasted potential, wasted character, in my opinion. And character that I think, could have been around more for bigger things later down the road. Perhaps even introduced in a manga down the line. If they started bringing the other villages into the fold of things, which I'm sure they would if the scales of the battle, start rising more. So it would have made sense. But moving on from that, Sarada then gets appointed to be new captain. I thought that was pretty fitting for her to lead, especially since she has the goal of becoming Hokage. So I do like that they're adding in, little details here and there for her to, lead different situations and whatnot. So that's cool. Then we get a little scene of Boruto pretty much reminiscing and remembering memories of Kagura. That was pretty sad to see. I'm not gonna lie, as I was watching that though, I was more like mad that they killed him off than like really emotional about it. Like I wasn't feeling like super duper sad, but I was just kind of disappointed in them that they killed him off like that. Even as he was remembering the memories. So then Team 7, so Kawaki included now, come and ask him about the karma and see what happens. And Boruto pretty much tells them that the drug that he has to suppress Momoshiki is working, but that he can freely use karma now. So once he said that, I was like, okay, this made this episode a little more worse now because he could have used it so many other times in other situations. But then he goes on to say that he isn't doing that and he hasn't been doing that because he doesn't want to lean on the Otsutsuki for power. That makes sense. He used it when he thought it was absolutely necessary, kind of as a last resort. I can live with that explanation. That's not too bad. To end off the episode, Tenma goes and takes a few of the Funato grunts with them, and he tries to do a sneak attack at night on Chojuro and pretty much the rest of Chojuro's subordinates, and he meets his end to Chojuro. Chojuro kills him. He does ask the Funato, he asked Tenma what the Funato's objectives are and if he would surrender peacefully because he didn't really want to kill him. But he took care of him, and he took care of him with relative ease, and I'm glad he did because he's a Kage and you don't want to make him look bad. It has been a problem in one of the previous anime arcs of Boruto, so I'm glad that they aren't causing the same issue here. Good on them for letting Chojuro dominate the fight. And animation this episode, kind of disappointing, especially because the main Studio Pierrot, was on it, so that was kind of disappointing to see. The Chojuro killing Tenma scene, that was alright. It wasn't too badly animated. I just wish the beginning was better. And overall, I'm just pretty conflicted about the episode in general. Think the show could have gone down a different path with this arc. But before I judge it as, as a whole arc, I'm going to wait to see how the arc wraps up. And we'll see where it goes from there. I guess it'll at least be nice seeing everybody get revenge on Funamushi for killing Kagura, at least, right? But yeah, that's my thoughts on the episode. I'm going to give this one a 4.5 to maybe a borderline 5 out of 10. I'm leaning more towards 4.5. So I would call it somewhere around a bad to a mediocre episode. I feel like there was more negatives in this episode than not. And I think what elevates it to maybe like that mediocre range possibly would be the whole Chojuro stuff, the fact that they tried giving Tenma some depth, and at least they were doing a solid job at trying to make Kagura's death a little emotional. That could have been, it could have had more impact if the animation didn't get out of hand, but it is what it is. Hopefully, future episodes are animated a bit better, but we'll see how it goes. But that's going to be it for this one. Be sure to leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Hope you guys have a good day or night. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.